Okay, we're live.
Hello.
Actually, we should move it more to you just to get us in the middle. All right. Welcome back for us on our channel. Where have we been?
Spain. And then Melbourne.
Yeah, we took
I feel like every time we start up like the first 5 minutes of the stream, I'm like super unproductive and like
You're like
awkward.
a deer in headlights, I swear.
Yeah, I don't know why. I should get used to it.
I'll start. I always start rolling, but then you got to rein me in because I just start running downhill. Anyway, hi everyone.
It's just
You
like
can catch up.
yeah, it's just the first question when you ask me the first question, and then I'm like I can't give like I'm always awkward. And then I loosen up with the second question. I feel like
It doesn't matter what I ask or how I start. I might as well say, what's the heaviest Soviet helicopter from the 1930s?
the fuck, I don't know.
I don't know either. All right. We are discussing, is it better to be single in 2025, but just in general, is it better to be single than in a couple? I talked about this on my channel. I actually dropped a video last night that's related to this as well. Why people who are loners or prefer being alone or don't like other people. It's got to do with being with the wrong people. So what's your overall take when someone says, is it better being single or is it better being in a relationship?
Yeah, well, my answer is very annoying, and it would probably be it depends.
Yeah, yours just always depends.
Yeah, but it's because it does depend. Like everything, nothing is black and white. Only like maybe a few things, but so yeah, it depends. It depends on your personality and what you want. It depends on the people around you. Like, it depends on your past.
I would say with the caveat of if you found a compatible person that's decent, respects you, they're kind, you talk and everything, they're just a really nice person, a relationship is really good. But if you don't have that, everything else is just much, much better to be single.
Yeah, I think maybe the main takeaway is don't just roll into relationships because it's normal to be in a relationship. Like maybe that's something that people could pay more attention to now in 2025. Like things have changed, obviously. People have changed. So don't just automatically start a relationship with someone because it's normal to have relationships, you know?
Yeah, I can see two sides though. Go ahead. What?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, make sure that they actually add to your life. And if a person, I've said this before, if a person doesn't add to your life, then like you shouldn't be in that relationship. So don't just do it automatically, but do it if you actually want it and it's actually adding something, I would say.
That's if you're in a non-hormonal, non-emotional state of mind. But let's face it, when people first get together, they just are consumed with, like them, their emotions and their hormones are at a 10 and everything, the world is perfect. And so it's very hard to be logical with someone who's so emotionally driven with another person.
Well, yeah, but if you're going to be in a relationship regardless, just because of your hormones, then this question probably isn't for those people.
Yeah, again, it's up to you. At the end of the day, you say it as well. It's your choice. It's your own fault. So back to, is it better, right? I think the freedom and being able to do whatever you want is very, very logical and makes sense. It's very attractive. You don't have to answer to anyone. You can think about what you want to do. You can do it. You don't have to negotiate with anybody. It's just all very matter of fact. You know, it is easier to be single in a lot of ways. And then there are some things that aren't easier, like when you need someone to talk to, when you would like company, when you would like to bounce ideas off yourself, or off somebody. Because when you're on your own, your head can drive you crazy. So there are pros and cons. But then if you're with the wrong person, they drive you crazy.
Yeah, but it's kind of tricky because it all depends on what you want, first of all, and your personality. Because all those things that you named before, like when you're single, you can make your own decisions and do your own things and everything. That's true, and that's really good if you really want to be single and there's no one around you who you want to be with. Because I remember that too from when I was single. But now that I'm married to you, those things are way less important to me because I would much rather obviously be with you, and I don't have those things anymore necessarily, right? But that's okay now because I want this more. So that's what I mean. So there are pros and cons, but it depends on where you are and what you want and the people around you.
Yeah. Look, I know the internet and videos, it's very common to have videos that give you black and white answers. But so many of the interesting questions don't have black and white answers. Should you have kids? Well, someone who really wants kids, and most people out there want kids, and the human race won't survive without having kids and things like that. Like, there's a question from, so if the person asking it and the person listening to the question really likes, wants, and sees a purpose to kids, then they will have a different conversation. Oh, yes, of course. And how do we go about it? Someone who doesn't want to have kids, has no desire to have kids, is different. So the context of this question is a better being single. There are some people that actually I've met that actually should never be in a relationship. And I could never think, like, I can't see anyone getting along with you. Even someone who is compatible with you, you two would be fighting. You're too stubborn and too narcissistic. It's like two narcissists trying to be together. So some people just can't be in a relationship. But I think the vast majority of people in the middle, that gray area, you have to, the best thing you can do is find out who you are and what you really want, and then decide, do you want a relationship or not, or how much? Do you need a full-time relationship like you and I have? Or do you want part-time? Do you want, or do you just want, I want to go cabin in the woods with a dog? So it is a very personal question. And it's kind of odd to me that people don't want to have these personal conversations with friends or with themselves or in their journal to really find out what do they want in their lives and what to make them content. Because they go online, they watch a video, it's like the 3 ways to know how your life should make sense. It's like, I can have a discussion with you, but don't tell me like it's fixing your car. Press this button, turn this screw, and then your car works. What you want from life is very different. So whether it's better being single or whether it's better being in a couple with someone is very different. Depends on what you need as a person.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it depends on a few things. It depends on your personality, first of all, because like you said, some people just genuinely like being alone and they're just happier alone. You've got those people. And then on the other side, you've got people who just can't be alone and they always want to be in a relationship. And that's also tied to like their values and what they want in their future. Like, for example, getting married and having kids. And then it also depends on like the people around you. If you've got like shit people around you, then maybe it might be better right now to be single, But if you've got like a really good opportunity of a person in your life that's like a really nice person and a good match for you, and you actually would like to be in a relationship, then, you could take that opportunity. Yeah. So it depends on a few things. I think this question is more of a personal question. You can't really answer it like in general. Like, everyone needs to answer it on their own.
Yeah, careful not to bump the table and stuff, babe. It shows up in the audio. I think it's also, I keep going on about this on my channel and people roll their eyes and think it's redundant, about really speaking up for yourself, speaking your mind, letting other people know who you are, and you hearing yourself speak your mind and knowing who you are yourself, so that you can know that the people you choose to be around are for you. And then if you like being around, like you catch up with a friend and you have a really good time, you'll know why, because you're being yourself, you're saying the things you should say, you're not censoring yourself. But there's so many people, whether it's with family, bad jobs and bosses, friends, relationships and things, they just tag along and they just say the things they should say to be in a relationship with those people. And then they need time away. And that tells me that they're not really being themselves with those people, or those people are not compatible with them. And you're just, because you want social interaction, it feels good. We're social animals as human beings. In a sense, what you do is you hold your breath so you can have a social interaction. And then when you've had enough, you need to breathe again. And so you need to go home and have time on your own. And that's normal if you haven't got compatible friends, family, or a partner. But it tells me that you should really find out who you are and speak your words to everyone you're around. Be polite, and then you will naturally find the people that are a match to you, whether that's friends or a boyfriend, girlfriend. And people don't do that. They don't have an interest in, they just think life is luck, and you just go out there and you talk surface level conversations at the supermarket. How's your day and whatever? How's kids today and bloody blah, and social media, just surface news conversation. Nothing's ever personal. So then you can never find out whether this person is good to be with in a personal sense in your life, or whether they're just like a colleague or a surface level relationship. So you really need to know what you need.
Yeah. I thought your video that you posted yesterday was actually really good.
Thanks, babe. I didn't know if you saw it or not, because I posted it last night.
I watched it this morning, and it was so relatable to me.
Yeah?
Because I've always said that I think that I'm very selectively social. Like there were a lot of things you said where I was like, oh yeah, that's so me. Like I recognize that, because I've always thought that I've never been like super social, but it doesn't mean that I can't be social. But with some people, I can be social or very social, and it's all about finding that click and connection with someone. But I don't find that with many people, so that's why I've always said I'm not very social. So that term, being selectively social, that really made sense to me. So that was a really good video. Yeah.
Hey, Melee, Ahmed Ghost, how are you guys?
Oh, we forgot about putting the chat up, yeah.
Yeah, I should put the chats up. Where is it? Chat highlight. Which one is it now?
Yeah, we went to Spain, not Portugal. I wouldn't mind going to Portugal, because I think that language is so beautiful. Like Portuguese.
You do?
It's very sexy, that language.
Really?
Yeah. Remember I said, because I'm actually, I want to learn a few languages, like just like A1 level, easy. Like Serbian, because he's from Serbia, so I want to learn some Serbian. I want to learn some Spanish, because at my school they're also offering Spanish this year. And Portuguese is also a language. I said like a while back, I wouldn't mind learning some Portuguese, because it's like so beautiful. Yeah.
It's a very smooth language.
Yeah.
Like the way it's spoken.
I just think it sounds super sexy.
Humans' teeth are black and white. Actually, no. This is dark navy, but with the color that I put over the videos, it...
Yeah, it's really awesome, this shirt. I was saying this morning I want one with It's Good to Be Steph. Single is... Oh, you're skipping his...
Okay.
Yeah. You could call an Uber.
Yeah, how am I going to get to the hospital, babe? You can't drive.
No, but I can call an ambulance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No point in being with the wrong person. No, that's what I'm saying. That's how I've always gone through life. Like, I don't understand staying in a relationship where you're not happy. Like, but I think it might also be easier for me because I've never been like set on getting married, and I've never wanted kids. So there's less of a chance of me being like trapped or like in a relationship where you can't get out,
Well, I never wanted that, but my problem was that I was very much a people pleaser that just.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
But if you're good with that, it's very good to know where you stand.
Yeah.
And then if you can realize, I don't even like being around you. We're fighting. We're not on the same page. We have very different interests. What am I doing here? I don't want next, or I just want to be on my own.
No, but that's what I was saying. Like, it's easier for me because I always talk about this like so easily, like, oh, just get out of the relationship if you're not happy. But it's easy for me because I've never wanted per se to get married or to have kids. For sure, I never wanted kids, so I would never be in that position where I would be like trapped. That's one thing. And then the other thing is also that I have no problem speaking up, and I never do stuff I don't want to do. Unless it's like really, really important to me, of course. But so I have those things that make it a lot easier for me. So I just recognize that it might not be so easy for other people. For example, if you're a people pleaser, then that's already a bit more tricky.
Well, also look at the.
Just putting this up a bit. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you need to grab it from the right arm over there. Grab that, and then move this up a bit. And then if you want, hold it like that.
Okay. Just feel like I'm slouching. Yeah.
You can put it up a bit more if you want.
No, I think this is good. Okay.
I was about to say, think about people that naturally want children and family. We can sort of say a lot of things about kids like, oh, why even bother? Why get pregnant? You can't afford kids. What are you doing? But they just want kids. Their whole life is directed to having a family. Like their life is... They would rather jump off a cliff if they couldn't have kids, you know. Some people, like I read an article the other day about a woman, she wrote the whole thing about she's been trying, and after the 10th miscarriage, she lost count. She's just been trying and she can't have kids. And it was this whole article about how all her friends have multiple kids that she grew up with. And she keeps having miscarriages, and she just wants to have kids. She'd be the best mother and stuff. And just this sad story from her that she just wants it, whereas you and I, you'd be like, good, I wish I had that problem that I couldn't get pregnant or something, you know. So everyone just has different psychological wiring.
Yeah, and obviously I can kind of understand people that really want to get married or really want kids, and that's fine, but that does make it a bit trickier when the relationship doesn't work out. Then obviously it's not as easy as just leaving, you know.
Yeah, and then you got on top of that a person's particular temperament, like whether they get angry, whether they're more prone to revenge. So say you leave and then the other person's like, you ruined my life. I had this whole plan of a family and kids and you just bailed. Like you just got personalities and then your particular wants. And then if you don't speak up, you're not just lying to yourself, you're lying to the other person. But you're told to be polite and like, you know, try and work it out. And there's just so many factors. That's why I think introspection and really looking at yourself and being honest about where your fears lie, where you can speak, where you should be speaking up, where you're not, what you really want out of life. Are you just following the template that your parents set for you? The environment you live in, the neighborhood, the country. Like, have you felt always like an outsider where you've always lived and you've always just wanted to move or travel or say no to this or quit your job? Like those things, like those are really important to kind of address and try and move on from. But a lot of people just stay where they are and they go with the flow and they just stress and act, and they're polite around people and they're the nice guy or girl, and their whole life is wasted because they just can't put themselves first in a polite way. You don't have to be rude to people, but you could just say like, no, I'm putting myself first and I'm going to speak my mind and don't tell me what to do. Like from girlfriends to parents to bosses or governments, it's like they can keep pushing you until you submit and be the nice person, but you've got to be good to yourself and say, no, this is what I want and this is what I don't want.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the tricky thing of like, it's easy to talk about things when you're not in it. I do also acknowledge that when you're in a situation, it's a bit different because you don't always have that total objectivity, you know, of an outsider. You know what I was just thinking also? I was thinking if I had been different and from a young age, I had always wanted to be married, get married and have kids, then I think it would probably be good if you want those things to spend a longer time dating someone before you actually take the next step to get married and have kids, you know? Because you're going to be tied together forever, especially if you also want kids. But then immediately afterwards, I was thinking, yeah, but I'm thinking this now as a 38-year-old woman, right? But if I had wanted that when I was 20, I probably wouldn't have thought about all of these things that we're talking about now when I was 20. So that's the thing. Now, later, we discuss all of these topics and like we should think about this and do this. But when you're young, all those young people, they're not thinking about all these things. And that's the tricky thing. Like later in hindsight, you reflect and think about stuff, you know?
Well, that's why it's so important to be raised well and have good parents, because then they're the little voice in the back of your head when you are 21 that make you stop a little bit and maybe not run too fast and be impulsive. Whereas when we get older, we're acting like the parent now. We're being, let's be sensible. Let's save money. Let's think about tomorrow. Hang on a minute, not too far. Like we are being the parent now, the adult. But when you're 21, if you haven't been parented, if you haven't been given restrictions and like common sense, then nothing's stopping you. You just you drink too much. You fool around too much. You just go wild, and you can find yourself going in a direction where you never look at what you want, and you're just throwing yourself into the world with people. And the world is full of a lot of nasty, narcissistic, psychopathic people, and you could get it taken advantage of, and then you could become bitter because you've just had no boundaries. You've never looked at what you want. So it is convenient now when you're older to say this, but and a young person really isn't going to hear what we're saying. They're going to say, yeah, Stephanie, Bob, I get it, but I'm having fun. Or what you're saying is right, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I've got time.
Yeah, I do feel like if I would want kids and if I had kids, that's something that I would teach my kids also, you know, they say selfishness is bad, but a little bit of selfishness is good, to like always be reflecting on what is it that I actually want to do, so that you never get into those situations you don't actually want to be in. You know?
How to stand up for yourself. I think that's a really good lesson that most kids should be taught from their parents.
What does she mean by that?
That?
Yeah. Bob and Steph are ghosting the single guys. It's so over.
Ghosting the single guys? What do you think? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. What do you mean, Louise? We're not talking about single guys. We are ghosting the single guys. It's so over. I'm not sure. Anyway. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off. You don't know what that is, do you?
I've seen the Rambo movies, haven't I?
Yeah.
But I can't remember that specific line, but...
That's the last speech at the end of the first Rambo.
I liked the movies. I'm not mean. I'm selectively... Well, yeah. I'm not mean.
Sometimes your directness can come off as not mean.
No, but that's a different topic, maybe, if whether I'm mean or not, or direct or not. But what's that got to do with I'm selectively social?
I think they're talking with each other through the thing. If you would like to ask a question, like to us to respond to or to read during the stream, do this. Like add 3 emojis. This example here. 3 smiley faces.
Single is better until you want to live stream as a couple.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But like I thought it was an interesting one, because I've been talking a lot about on my other channel recently, and thinking a lot about the trap of being isolated. Single is preferable in most cases. That's what I say, most cases, until or if you find someone you're compatible with. Because a lot of people are tired of being alone and they just want some company. But it's very hard to find nice people And it's even harder to find nice people that are compatible with you. I've mentioned before how most, I would say 80 to 90% of my serious relationships in my past, they were nice people, but they needed to be compatible with me as well, which they weren't in the end. You find that out later after the honeymoon period wears off. So it is preferable to be single, I would say. If I had to choose one without talking any context, if you had to choose single or with just blindly being with someone or blindly being single, I would say blindly be single. You'll have problems being single as well, but it's better than most likely being with the wrong person and you can't breathe and you need time away and you hate your life because you can't say what you want to say. You can't do what you want to say. You can't take a breath.
Yeah, but I think that would go for everyone. Like if you can choose to be single, or you'll randomly be set up with a person, then most people will pick single.
That's what I mean. So if it's just random, if it's not you being intentional, then blindly, yeah, I think being single is preferable, especially today, the way dating and everything is. Like a lot of traditionalism has gone out the window, a lot of mature ways of, like you said, taking your time. You know, what do you want? Assess the person, take your time, and see if they're right for you. If you want kids, like you said, you know, if you really want kids, go about it a certain way. But everyone's just like immediate gratification. Like, I want to have fun. I'm free and single, want to have fun. If it works out, it works out. We'll see how it goes. We'll just vibe.
Yeah, I think all of these topics are it's more easy to aim them at older people, I feel like. Because, like I said, I think younger people just don't often think about all these things.
Yeah, but I think most of our audience would be middle-aged or older.
Yeah.
Because there are middle-aged and older people who are still running on autopilot. They're dating and thinking the same way that they did in their 20s. And I know I did for a very long time. When I moved out of home, my 30s were just having the fun I should have had in my 20s. But I had the benefit of being a bit more level-headed in my 30s, which probably saved me from accidental pregnancies and being with the wrong person, you know, whereas when you're young, it's just all hormones. So...
yeah. Oh, I have to respond to Armored Ghost. The paella was absolutely delicious. It completely blew me away. Yeah. On my parents' anniversary, there were people there who brought like 2 pans that were like...
Look at
this size.
Look at this face. Look at this, the aura of like...
They were huge, 2 huge black pans full of paella with chicken.
They were huge.
It was delicious. I had 3 plates of the paella. It was so good.
It was one of those metal dishes with these 2 big handles at the end that you see in like the whole village can eat out of it. The metal dish is as big as this room, or like a bit smaller than this room. Like they had 2 of them. Did they?
As big as this room.
I don't know. It was huge.
Like one pan as big as this room.
They were huge. Weren't they like this big or something?
Talk about exaggeration.
I'm
never tell people how big my ass is, babe, because you're gonna like make it as big as a house then.
Come back to my place. It's this big.
Oh yeah. No, but it was absolutely delicious. And then later when we got back to Melbourne, I had paella here at a restaurant actually, and it was like nowhere near as good as the one in Spain.
You still liked it.
It was still good, but it was like a 7. But the one in Spain was like an 11.
But see, the thing now is you're trying to recreate Spain. Whenever we go and there's paella on the menu, she's always getting paella.
Well, yeah, but that's like if I would ever date someone else, you're always going to be the 11. Like, that's good. No one's going to compare to you. Like, no one's going to compare to the Spanish paella. And it makes sense because, like, it is Spanish, so they make the best paella.
Yeah. I don't see the attraction. She loved it.
He thinks it's, like, boring. It's so weird.
Well, in Serbian cooking, my mum made similar rice dishes, but it didn't have that Mexican flavor. It had like a Eastern European flavor, like with vegeta. And so it's like this very different flavor, but the same texture, same feel. So for me, it's like a 4.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
And for you, it's like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
It's for, you know what it is for me? When you have a really nice meal and you have like a handful of that kind of rice on the side just to kind of go with the meal. But for you, it's the whole meal.
That for me is when you have a fruit salad. Like I'll be fine with a little bowl of a little bit of mixed fruit and you'll have like a whole big bowl. Like that's the same thing for me.
Yeah, my dessert is making myself a big fruit salad.
Yeah.
And she just thinks I'm being boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. This might sound cynical, but it is observation. It is observations. Many older people are not happy and pretend to smile. They are essentially broken and not working on themselves. I'm not saying be miserable. Yeah, I think a lot of there's that cliche where they got married young or they got married in that very proper time post World War II, where it was like, would you like to marry me, my lady? Kind of like it's just you like each other and you do the right thing and you go to church and you do everything by the rules and everyone does the same thing as you and you have the conversations like everyone else and the conversations you have at church is the same conversations you have at home. There's no real inner, like your real inner desires and your inner world coming out. And then after a while, they're like, well, they realize they should never have married this person. You know, they naively married them because everyone was getting married at the same time. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've always found it easy to recognize what someone's like. Like with all my ex relationships, you kind of get to know someone and then you think they're this way and then they are this way. Like, I don't really get those stories of people that get into a relationship with someone and then the person completely changes and then it becomes like hell.
but obviously, when you dated in the past, you didn't get a whole sense of the person right away. It might have taken time before you realize, okay, this person's not for me.
Yeah, that's true. But that's more like you're not really compatible or there are little things. They're just little things.
Sure, but I'm saying that you don't know. Like it takes you a while to get to know. Okay, like I had my optimism when I first went on a date with this person. It took a few dates, but now I realize like, no, we're not compatible. For some people, their expectations at the start linger a lot longer, and they weeks, months, sometimes years, and then by that time they're locked in. It's like, wow, we're in a relationship now. Now I realize that all our differences, but it's too late. We're locked in.
Yeah, but that's why I think you should wait with, like, if you actually want to get married, you should date for a few years. Because all my relationships in the past before you, they haven't never been longer than 2 years. And I feel like between like a year and 2 years, that's where you really find out, like things pop up and you find out if you're really compatible or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I would want to get married or something, how am I gonna?
How are you going to not offend me?
No, I mean, I'm trying to give an example, but the situation is different. Just another person, if another person would want to get married, then I would say be together for like a few years first, really get to know the person, like longer than 2 years. But then again, sometimes, because when I met you online, I knew instantly, but I feel like sometimes you just know that a person is good and that a person is very compatible to you.
Yes and no. Like some people are so. I know I was so demoralized by dating in the West that at times I don't even trust myself anymore. Like it's like I just either relationships are shit or I'm just terrible at them, and so sometimes you don't even trust your own instincts. You have trusted yourself a lot. You've always known what you want, and so you knew very quickly that I was for you. Me as well. I felt very attracted to you, but I needed time. I was just wanting to talk to you more, and this is great. You're very, very different, and I needed more time, probably than you, to be convinced because of my experience here. But I still felt the same thing. But my past was that relationships are bad. I'm no good at them. I don't understand them. Every time I think yep, this is 10 out of 10, I'm made to look like a fool. So I was a bit shaky on my own judgment. So I need more time to really see the picture clear, you know?
Mm.
So again, just proves the point that everyone's different, and the best answer you can give is take your time and not rush. That's probably the best one trick pony answer that you can give most people. While everyone's different, is it won't hurt if you just enjoy it for what it is at that time and just give it time. It's not going anywhere. If you two are going to be together, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I just think that those situations where a person flips all of a sudden, that's just very unfortunate because I don't know, I would think there would be red flags. But let's say there are no red flags and you've been with this person for like 3 years or whatever, and then you get married, and then you have kids and stuff, and then the other person like, flips all of a sudden. Like that's just like really unfortunate, you know, those situations.
What you said about being with a person for 1 or 2 years, that's actually really good, because there's a lot of people that think within the first 2 or 3 months, that honeymoon period, that initial thing, when that fades, then you'll see the real person. Yes and no, because yes, in that first weeks to months, where however long the honeymoon period is for you, that's when your expectations and everything kind of simmer down, and you kind of start to see the person for who they are. They're not out there trying to impress you. It's not new anymore. The newness fades. When the newness fades, that's when you can start to be more sober, and your emotions and hormones have like gone down a bit. That's when you can start having the proper relationship, right? But what you said about 1 or 2 years, I think that's a really good point, where when the honeymoon period in the first few months fades, then you calm down, and now you're dealing with each other in a calmer way. But then also in that 1 or 2 years, life happens, things happen, individuals change. And the 1 or 2 year period is really good to see that, am I compatible with my partner, in the sense that when she changes jobs, careers, she wants to do this, but now she wants to do something else, we're compatible enough that we can still be together and go accommodate each other. Like she'll follow me if I change, I follow her if she changes. That kind of compatibility. And that you can only find out in 1 or 2 years of being together through life. But you really don't have time to see that in a couple of months. In a couple of months, you can really see obvious incompatibilities, like we're just two different people. But then when it settles down, you could be in the stage of life that you both like now, but then one of you is like open to going in a different direction if it presents itself in 6 months or a year, and the other person's like, fuck no. And that's when you break up. So that's a really good point. There's the obvious incompatibility of the honeymoon period in 3 months, and then there's the hidden incompatibility when you both grow. Can you both grow together in the future? And that takes 1 to 2 years of seeing life happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's also a part of it that's just not, you can't predict everything. You know, like man or woman, something could change for them down the road. Like you never know. Sometimes those things just happen.
I think the best thing you can do is lay out where you stand on the biggest things, like kids, religion, lifestyle, introvert, extrovert. You want to always be going out. The other person wants to be a homebody. How you see life. You talk about it you're just so interested, like you and I were. We were talking about every little part of life from every angle. We weren't hiding anything. I don't think either of us were like saying, yeah, I don't want to tell them about this part of my life because that's going to turn someone off. They won't like it. They don't need to know this. Like I wanted you to know everything. And then I felt free when I tell you everything. And then it's like, well, this is real. We're still as interested in each other. And I'm just like offloading everything. There's nothing on my plate in my mind. I'm not hiding anything. And then I know it's real. But if you have to kind of like curate your life and your answers around your partner, it's like trying to make it perfect for the future.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
I think a good way to ask yourself, like, if you should be with someone is to ask yourself, like, can I completely be myself with this person? Can we talk about everything? Is nothing off the table? Can I be silly? You know, all of those things. Like, because if I couldn't be like that, then I feel like that might not be good. Because then you don't really know where it's going to go down the line.
I just think speaking openly and honestly, like you would around your best friends. You can be silly and you're completely you. That's the best you can do. And you don't censor yourself. You don't act proper. Like, I mean, don't be a drunken idiot, but that's the best you can do. And then you will see where your relationship is. I don't get some of these comments. Single is better until you want to land party at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I think, don't you mean couple is better until you want to land party at 2 a.m.?
Well, what's LAN party?
I think it's like gamers. They get together and they play a video game at 2 o'clock in the morning. And like your partner wouldn't like that. So.
Oh, that's fine. I'll be sleeping, so.
Unless I'm misreading this, I think the question is worded incorrectly. Mahesh, personally, I don't think for myself at my age of 52, I will find someone now to have my needs met. Well, look, you should meet your own needs, and a person should just be on the same page of you in terms of how they want to live their life. That's the easiest thing with you and I. We want to live our lives the same way, and we respect each other. We're attracted to each other. There's not a sticking point that we have to work on that's got to do with you and I as people. Like, we like the other person.
You know what the thing is? You can find, I think, a lot of nice people. When I think of my exes, they were all really nice people. But it's hard to find that one person that's like super compatible with you and who's more like, you know, like the one, kind of. I think those are very hard to find. But it's easy to find a lot of nice people, but who might not be completely compatible with you down the line. And that's probably why people end up in relationships very easily, because there are a lot of nice people, but there aren't a lot of people that are completely compatible with you. So that's why there are also a lot of breakups and divorces.
Don't forget, people get tired as well. I got tired of dating. Like, you meet a lot of nice people, and after a while it's like, well, that's the best that I keep getting. And I just don't have the interest anymore, time to just keep getting okay. Like, I find it more exciting just having a single life now. So some people don't want to keep playing until they win the lottery. You know, you can, like, when you're dating, you meet a lot of nice people, a lot of train wrecks, but a lot of nice people. So that's like playing the lottery every week, and you win $10, $20, $10, 20, but you never win the jackpot. And after a while, it's going, F this. I'm not playing this anymore. Like, I've got better things to do than playing the lottery just to win $10 or $20 every week. I've been playing for 20 years. I've never won any big prize. I'm going to save my money. And that's kind of the mentality of a lot of people. They just run out of interest.
I feel like if it was like that for me, then I wouldn't even date anymore. Because I've had good relationships, but I remember after one of my relationships, I felt like, okay, I feel like I just want to be single for a while. And then I was single for like 4 years, I think, before I got into my next relationship. So I recognize that feeling a little bit, but if my relationships had been really bad, then I wouldn't even try it anymore, I think. Because I'm fine with being single.
I was just tired. Like, I wasn't like anti-angry, but I was just like not interested anymore.
Yeah, of course.
And it was only your effort for sending me an email, and you wanted to discuss something with me, is that I was like approaching it like, I'm just reading an email. This is going to be a nice conversation. But my headspace for dating, like, I just kind of closed that door. And it's only through talking to you that you opened it for me. But I wasn't thinking about it anymore. So there are so many factors that it is better being single. I think it's nice to try if you really want to. And I think a lot of people do want to date and try and have fun and meet people and talk and get together and all of that. But at some point, I think you really need to look at what you want and who you are, especially. And then your dating life will be better.
Yeah. I think you can't even say it's better to be single or it's better to be in a relationship. It's, like I said, I think it just depends on the person and the situation and the people around you.
Yeah, but you consider how hard it is dating today, how hard it is to find a compatible person. It's not easy. You can't just close your eyes, throw a stone. It's like, oh, 50-50, I'll find a compatible person. Men and women are different already mentally, regardless. Like, we think differently. We want different things out of life. We react differently, right? And then there's a lot of people that are incompatible to you, right, as well, plus being very different from you, from their biology. Then you find it, like, you can find, it's rare to find nice people. You find them, but they're still not compatible with you. We talked about, we've dated nice people. They're not compatible. So it just keeps getting harder and harder the more specific you get. And then, so the chances are, like, 9 out of 10 people aren't even going to come close to being compatible to you. And you just keep trying out there, and then you just give up. So I know what you're saying. It depends. But if you keep doing it, and you keep getting incompatible heartbreak the same way, same different person, same feeling, same result again.
Yeah, but that's a specific scenario you're describing now. For that person who keeps going through bad relationships, for that person, it's probably better to be single. But that's a specific scenario. But what I'm saying is, you probably can't say objectively it's better to be single, because that depends on the person and the situation. You know what I mean?
I mentioned before, if you take out being intentional, just blindly dating out there, I think it's better to be single objectively. If I was a scientist, right? But if you're being intentional, which everyone should, then it depends. But I'm saying the way people date, like the way people date now is just hormones. I like you. I want this, like it's tug of war. Like a girl wants this and a guy wants something else, and they're just pulling the rope in different directions. So instead of that stress, blindly dating today, it's better to be single, I would say, objectively. But if you're dating with intent, then it's a different story.
But for those young people, though, playing devil's advocate here, isn't that just life? Because if they are just single and they just don't date and participate in that at all, isn't that them being isolated and missing out of all of these life experiences?
True. Look, yeah, I know.
It's tricky, yeah.
Again, I think the best thing you can do is be interested in your own life and interested enough to speak your words, not censor yourself, not be a people pleaser, not be afraid, be eloquent, be clear, and aim to be proud of yourself. And then you'll have your best chance of either being happy with people or being happy without people. Because if you have this really good understanding of who you are, how you speak and how you think, you'll be better on your own when you're single. You won't be driving yourself crazy in your head. And then also when you're with someone else, you won't be driven crazy by someone else's head, by an incompatible person.
Yeah, I think it's really good if you can just be alone. If you can be happy being on your own and you know who you are and what you want, I think that's a really good basis, like a really good foundation to have. Because then anyone you let into your life, you know what you want and what you don't want, and you're good on your own. So they are extra and they have to add something to your life. I think that's a good position, as opposed to people who need to be in a relationship because they can't be alone. They're going to accept anything into their lives, That's not a very good position. So I think if you can be alone and be happy with that and be at peace with that, that's a good position to start from, I think.
I've noticed that with a lot of the macho guys online, when they talk about dating, there's the guy that really, you could tell they love being alone, but they're not angry. They're almost like an advertisement for how good single life is. It's like, oh, I love my life, and they have a joke, they're laughing. But then you got the other guys who are angry at women, at dating, at the system. And it's like you have to address a lot of your own issues, how you communicate and how you let people walk all over you and stuff. Then you will stop being less. But there's guys that actually are very happy being on their own. They're not angry at women and the world. They're just this advertisement, this happy advertisement for the life they love now that they're not in a relationship. There are a lot of them are guys who got married young, had kids, and their wife took everything, and now they'll never go back to it, and they're just happy that they're free. But then there are other people that are in the same position, but they're pissed off at women and women's expectations, and like it's all anger. So the way the person speaks about being single is also very interesting when I've heard people talk.
Yeah, yeah. I obviously really like that first group. I think that's very intriguing. And I also understand them. Not that I've been through bad stuff or anything, but I've always really enjoyed being single. I've enjoyed being in relationships, and I've enjoyed being single. So, yeah, so I kind of understand that.
Yeah, I see it mostly when you see documentaries of like a really old man or woman, they're on their own and they could be a writer or whatever, and they're interviewing him, and you can just see they've been single all their life. They've never had kids. They love their life. They're not built for the traditional relationship, family, kids, and all of that. Barbecue conversations and like little Timmy's going to soccer practice. They're not built for those conversations, and their conversations are the ones I find interesting. They're just happy. They're not angry. They're not saying, "Oh, effing men" or "effing women" and the problem with the system. They're just like, no, they've got a sense of themselves that they're an artist, or they always just wanted to live on their own, and they garden and they get up and they got a dog, and they're just like really solid and good with the way they live. Those people, like I like you, and people who find themselves single, I think can learn from them rather than learning from single people who are angry that pretend to be good with the single life.
Yeah.
know? Because you see those people as well in the self-help, like they're talking about habits and motivation. You could tell these people, you shouldn't be a teacher. You're still broken and you're frustrated and you're teaching people. You're just trying to will yourself to work things out.
Yeah, well, that's that group in the red pill, I think, that we talked about like a long time ago. That those men that are very pissed off still, that they still have to work through something. Like they shouldn't stay there permanently. They should work through something and then get to like a calm place.
Yeah.
Like
Let it all out, vent, and then like when you let it all out, now you can breathe. You got it all out of your chest, off your chest, and now you can like move forward and actually do something.
yeah, like make a decision about what you're gonna do. Like maybe you want to try dating again, or you never want to date again. That's both are fine, but just make a decision and then move on and let go of all of that anger, because that's not a good place to be. Like if you just stay in that place for years, I don't think that's very good.
Yeah, look, I've never liked it when I saw women bitching at men all the time. And as I got older, I just realized that I was like that to a degree, but just seeing men bitch like feminists bitch as well. It's like, yeah, vent initially, get it off your chest, find out what's right and what's wrong, and now enjoy your life by what's right and what's wrong. Stop staying there and being angry all the time.
Yeah, I can understand that it can take a while though, because especially if you're surrounded by those kind of women, but also if you watch a lot of those YouTube videos, like you kind of get sucked into that space, you know? I can understand how it could take a few years maybe before you wake up and then you're like, oh yeah, I should probably go and focus on something else.
You know, it's also a good point is that if you're still stuck in that anger area and the political area and the finger pointing and I'm smart, you're dumb kind of mindset, then it's better to be single because you're probably not going to have a good relationship. No, like if you go there, you're like a really angry person. You're very politically inclined, and you're talking about men and women and politics and the unfairness and the law and this. And I watch all these like those the worst kind of the relationship channels on YouTube. You go with that kind of personality and that kind of those talking points. You go on a date with someone else who's the opposite. They just want to have fun. They don't care about the politics. They're a fair, decent person. They're going to look at you and go, whoa, you're weird. I don't understand you. They're not going to be... Whereas if you kind of work through that, you let it go, and then you came to a place where, no, I'm good. I just want to enjoy my life. I know how I want to enjoy my life. You could meet that same person and they could be compatible with you. But if you're wrapped up in the whole politics, anger mindset, you could meet a person that's good for you, but they won't be because you're wrapped up in all this bullshit.
But it also doesn't make sense because you're dating the thing you're angry at. Like you need to resolve that first, right? Like especially if you're talking shit about women and stuff, and then you still go out on dates with women It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but that's what I mean when it becomes very political and toxic. It's that I'm tired of these kind of women, and men need to be this and women need to be this. And then there's a woman that's like that, but then in your head it's like, nah, all women are the same. It's like, well, then even if she is different, you label her as bad. She could be decent.
Yeah.
And you're still dating too. It's like you want to fight. It's like these people that just want to fight.
Yeah, it is sad. I mean, I do kind of get it, because it's basically, if you've been in like really bad situations where women have been like really mean and malicious and stuff, and you can't do anything about it. I think that's why men get so angry, because they can't do anything about it. Like, if a man screwed them over, they can go beat him up or something. With a woman, you can't do anything. You have no power. And it's also like unfair in the world.
The best thing you can
Between
do
men
is
and
walk
women.
away though, but they don't. They
Yeah, I
want to
know,
fight.
but you've got all that anger, and she screwed you over, and you can't do anything. And I think that's also why they get so angry, and it's hard to let it go. Like, I can kind of understand that.
And do you think they take it out on the next person? Like they use the next person as like a proxy for their ex or what happened to them or their frustration. Like they want to unload on this new person.
Well, maybe, but I think especially they unload online, and that's why they're so angry online, because they need to vent and let everything out.
Yeah. And I think also if you're used to always unloading in an angry way online, that's the way you're engaged in conversations with relationships about women, men and stuff, that when you go in real life and have a coffee face to face with a person, you don't know how to talk any other way except for the way you talk online. So when you're talking, it's like, oh, dating, and you're going to be like straight into the red pill angle. Whereas if you're not in there, you're just going to be talking like a normal person.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very hard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Got some comments.
Yeah, I don't think Melee's pissed off at women. From his comments, I think he's fairly level-headed and reasonable.
They can be annoying, but I accept their behavior for better or for worse. I don't know if you should be accepting their behavior.
Oh, not actually to date them, but when he comes across people who are idiots, it's like that.
Oh, like that.
They are the way they are, and I'll just like let them go.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I get it now.
I'm not angry with women. I was initially until I realized it was hurting me more than anything. The best thing you could do is not give them anything. The best comment I mentioned the other day to Karu, and he a few months ago was having a debate online with a guy about dating, and the person was trying to debate Karu with all these papers and academic things, and he copy and pasted like a huge essay of talking points of like, no, men and women, and this is the way it is, you're wrong. And Karu's response at the end is like, yeah, I'm not reading that, I don't care. And it was like, it's the same where you go out with a woman or a guy, it's like, oh, politics and men and women. And you're like, yeah, I know where I stand, I don't care. And they're frustrated and angry. It's like, well, yeah, I don't care. I'm not shaking your hand that way. Sorry, go. Like, I'm not playing. But you got to play. No.
Ooh.
Your tits.
That was my boo. I think it's good to ask yourself every once in a while in your life, am I in a cult? You know? Am I in the red pill cult? Am I in the vegan cult? Am I in any cult?
Well, if you have a good time there, you're never going to ask yourself that question. Like, am I asking myself now, like, because I'm having a good time with you, I love our marriage, it's like, is this a cult?
Is it?
You're never going to try and intentionally let me see if I can play a game and you know, put this down. You know, if you enjoy where you are, you're not going to put it down.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, let's there's a comment here. I asked last night we put a post up, do you prefer being single in 2025? Let me refresh if it's changed.
That was my stomach. I'm hungry.
And 50-50. 8 votes. So 4 said yes, 4 said depends. None said no, which is pretty reasonable, actually. Because being with someone has its good and bad sides depending on whether they're compatible or made for you or not. Being single and alone has its upsides and downsides as well.
Paella is a cult, is it? I will happily be a part of the paella cult.
Yeah, she's not asking me to join the cult, so it's fine.
No, yeah.
So that's interesting. Half the people prefer being single and half say, yeah, it depends. So, yeah, I think that's where I stand as well. I think you as well.
I'd say it depends.
That's a pretty good one. Rocket says, I don't know about better, but certainly quieter. Yes, peace and quiet. But this is the thing, it becomes very addictive as well.
What, peace and quiet?
Yeah. And it's very hard to, like, the longer you enjoy solitude.
You can never say that about me, though. Like, say we break up and then you're like, oh, now it's so quiet and peaceful because you talk just as much as me, if not more. No,
but the peace and quiet, like the chill factor of our life is the same. It's just that if you're on here, I'll be missing you being here as well. So it's not like our life is completely different. Like when I was on my own, the way my life looked is pretty similar to this.
Oh, yeah, I took it literally like talking. Yeah.
I talk a bit more than you, though. Actually, I talk way more than you. Louise says, I don't know, man. The spirit is strong, but the flesh is weak. Every time I think I'm going to stay single and focus on myself, I match with a cute girl that's really into me. I don't chase. She just makes obvious that it's happening. When it's over, I keep thinking I'll never repeat that. Then even fuglies turn me down at every turn for a while. Somehow lightning strikes a second time or a third or a sixth time, and I'm with a cute girl that's seriously 3 points higher than the girls turning me down. I'm your age and dating 10 to 20 years younger. There's no logic to it at all. Yeah.
Is this a woman?
I don't know. It says Louise, or it could be Lewis. Lewis?
Oh, yeah, Lewis.
Yeah, I experienced the same thing. After a while, I got tired, and then all of a sudden, then you get a decent girl that you're attracted to. You go, okay, something different, something that might be my type. And then it turns out the same thing, and then you just meet all these people that are not for you. You think, superficially, they're not my type. They're fairly ugly. They're just like, they're trying to get something that's really not for them. We're not in each other's lane. So, yeah, it's a weird thing. There's no logic to it at all. So I always talk about the only logic you can have with dating is to be really clear about yourself. That's the only logic you can have. And then when you deal with other people, you're really trying to hold firmly to yourself regardless of what they're like, because then you'll be able to say yes or no. But if you just don't think for yourself, you don't have boundaries and you don't say your yeses and your nos, then you will get with people that will just force you to do what they want to do. And you will just be polite and go, yeah, whatever, I'll go along. And then you find yourself in a relationship after 2 or 3 years and you say, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's not even about other people and dating. It's about you just need to first selfishly be able to be alone and be happy and know what you want. I feel like if you've got that down, you'll be in a much better position to then be open to dating. Because then if someone comes into your life and there are red flags or it's not good, then you can just show them the door,
I know with me, the mentality that helped me, and obviously it's with everyone, is that I got to a point, and I got to a point very late where I realized I don't care anymore about impressing anyone. I don't care if they're impressed or not. Because I noticed on dates, I'd be talking and just being myself, and I'd say something about what I'm into or what I like or what I don't like, or I just like staying at home, I don't like traveling, and they look at you like, oh, okay, that's weird, like that's odd. And part of me in the past would be like, oh no, that's a bit lame. I should clarify that I'm not a complete boring person. Let me make myself more interesting. No, don't apologize. Like, don't ever. It's like, I've got a right to be myself, as exciting, as boring. If I'm just telling you who I am, if you're not impressed, you're not impressed. Like, I just stopped trying to impress people. Go out there, be friendly, and stop impressing. Just have a good time, be fun. And if they don't like that fun, if you have to keep turning it up for them, it's like, then no.
Yeah. Impressing, like, I do feel like you impress people when you first start dating. I think that's kind of normal. But I think you should never be someone else. Like, you should always just be who you are. Like, as soon as you start changing who you are, then it's like you're not authentic anymore.
Naturally, most people aren't like that. You've got more than that than me and most people. Most people are taught to be polite, growing up in your family, eat your dinner, don't speak like that, respect your elders. You're taught to how to behave and perform to be polite and civil. And you grow up and you're performing too much to be polite. And you start doing it in dating. You don't know where to cut it off.
Yeah, I don't think it's being polite, though, because we were also raised to be polite, and we are polite. And, like, on a date, I will, like, show my best side and maybe impress the person a little bit if I can. But I will never not be who I am. And that's what I don't understand. Like, if people start acting in a way that's not how they would normally behave, or they even start lying about themselves, like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't ever want to be not me, you know?
Yeah, but see, again, I get that. That's why we're compatible, that you and I both have been interested in being ourselves. What am I like? Where have I got fears? I don't like being fearful. How can I overcome my fears? Like, you really want to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you date better. You have friends. Your friendships are better. Life is a lot clearer. You're not pulled around by life and other people and dating. You're much more in control. But if you don't want control of how you date, most people don't. Most people just go with the flow of dating. Oh, this was exciting. I went on a date and this happened. It's so unpredictable. It's so romantically unpredictable. It's like, no, I don't want romantic unpredictability.
Yeah, but if you go with the flow and you're happy about the way the flow is going, I guess, that's fine. But if things are happening that you're not happy about, then I don't get why you would keep going with the flow.
Because people believe that's just how relationships are. Relationships suck. It's hard work. You got to roll the dice again. You got to roll the dice again. You just keep rolling the dice, and you don't care about.
Yeah, but then that's on you also.
Yeah.
There's my phrase again. That's on you. Because you're accepting it then.
Yeah.
Like, why are you accepting it? Like, I wouldn't accept that.
Yeah. Look, I get you, and I find that an interesting conversation. That's the way it should be. But most people, they just don't want to think that much. I've been on dates where girls say, like, you think too much, Bobby. Like, can we just have a good time? Like, why all these? I would always, no matter what I talked about on dates, it would be about food or how you do this or getting up in the morning or going about life. I would always want to go deeper in that conversation. They'd be like, can you just keep it on the surface? They want me to keep it on the surface.
But they have to get something out of it then, because I don't understand it because I'm wired differently, I guess. But because I'm thinking if I would present myself as someone else, or I would lie about who I was, I don't do that because that, to me, like, I'm too lazy. That's gonna take up so much of my energy. I'm gonna have to remember stuff. Like, fuck that, right? Like, I don't have the time for that. But so I don't understand it. But they must get something out of it. So them being shallow or not showing their real selves, there must be something they're getting out of it. You know what I mean? Because
being a coward is easy. You can hide, you can pretend. If things go wrong, you can lie and have an out. Like, oh, I didn't say that. Well, we're just not built for each other. But if you actually say who you are and stand by what you want, then if things go bad, then you have to go, well, I made that decision. I said that. Yeah,
but what I'm trying to say is that I think that all people are kind of selfish, right?
Sure.
But we're selfish in different ways. Like, in that situation, I'm selfish because I don't want to spend all this energy pretending to be someone else, like someone that I'm not, and telling lies and stuff. Because I want to be like who I am, like, because that makes me feel good selfishly, right? But those other people that do lie and pretend to be another person, they must also get something out of it selfishly. That's what I mean. So for them, it's probably that they they want to keep it shallow. They don't want to get into deep conversations for whatever reason. They want to have fun or whatever. That's their reason. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're selfishly doing those things also to get something out of it. Just like I am. We're just doing it in different ways.
Well, it's the same way as a covert and overt narcissist is getting their way. Overt is just presenting themselves as who they are and forcefully controlling the situation and selfishly doing what they want. The covert narcissist as well is still getting what they want, but behind the scenes and not saying anything and like manipulating. So the person in a relationship, I think everyone wants to be selfish. The difference is a lot of people don't speak up. And so they act like the covert narcissists. Well, like, well, I'm going to try and get this relationship to work and get something out of it and enjoy myself, but not be direct, but be indirect and not say things and go with the flow and not say what I mean and whatever. And then afterwards you can just say, I was the good guy. And afterwards you can just be the victim and still get attention from everyone else. Oh my God, it was them. So I think everyone has selfishness in them, but a lot of people don't actually speak up about their selfishness, and they play the victim and they try and get what they want out of a relationship indirectly.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You should be getting what you want out of a relationship directly.
Yeah.
By direct communication and showing who you are. Not because if one person in the relationship is direct and you're indirect, the direct person will win. Not win, but they will get the relationship they want because you're just going along with it. And when it breaks up, they're disappointed because, like, what went wrong? Like, I thought you were into the same things as me. You were communicating like me, but you weren't. You were just like, I'm going to get what I want, but I'm going to be a bit of a coward and lie and just be agreeable. So rather than both of you being direct and upfront about who you are and what you want, and either you stay together or you go your separate ways, the indirect person just wants to get something from the relationship in a false way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, that was a good little side conversation.
Uglife says, been single for a decade, started pursuing music 6 months ago. Now I'm in a chill situationship. This is one of these examples where you just get on with your life and then things fall into place. Because you will interact with people when you start getting into your hobbies and just living life. And then also people will like you because you're enjoying living your life. But if you're doing nothing and you're just into the political bashing of men and women and you're going on dates, it's not fun for anyone.
So a situationship, I'm curious because that's the same as just dating someone, right?
It's like a friends with benefits. It's like, yeah, that last bit I'm not a fan of, situationship. That's kind of like, again, evasive, indirect. It's like, what is this? Oh, well, it's whatever. We'll see what happens. No commitment.
I think it's just dating. Just dating one person.
For me, it's friends with benefits.
No, but friends with benefits is something else. That's like your friends and you have sex.
Situationship, this is one of these millennial new age terms that's very evasive to me. It's like when people say at the end of a sentence, and like, whatever. It's like, whatever's nothing.
I think it's just you're dating one person. It's just a different word for dating one person, I think. Let us know if that's what you think it is.
Uglife, yeah.
Uglife.
I think situationship could be anything. It could be friends with benefits. It could be they're kind of dating. They don't really talk about what it is. One party could think this is, we're exclusive, but the other person's like, no, I'm dating a few people at once. We just don't talk about it. We've got separate lives.
Oh, I would hate that. All that, like, what's the word?
Situation. It doesn't mean anything.
All that stuff you don't know.
There you go.
What's the word for that?
Friends with benefits with an older woman. We both know it's not a long-term thing. Yeah. You don't know if are they married? Are they not? Am I cheating? And it's like situation is anything. And that, I don't like that. That's why I always wanted to go after a long-term relationship, because I can't handle the washing machine of different people all the time. Well, enjoy it while the fantasy lasts, while the movie lasts. But yeah, sounds like the movie's going to come to an end. It's kind of like binge watching a really good series. It's a short 6-part series, and it's going to come to an end.
We're pretty clear about where we stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things can work.
You know what's tricky about those? Because I've had these in the past as well, where for a little pocket of time, you were so free and you both didn't expect anything. It is friends with benefits. It's like a friend. A friend doesn't get jealous. The friend doesn't care a friend lets you live your life away from them. They're not checking in. What are you doing? Where are you? And then afterwards, you might find yourself in a serious relationship, whether it's a different dynamic, and you're always going to look back on like, well, friends with benefits was so cool at that time. But the thing with friends with benefits, they never last.
I don't think I would do that though, or that I could do that. Like, I think it's easier to just date a person, just like sometimes go out for dinner or hook up or whatever.
But that's friends with benefits.
No, that's friends. So you have a friend, and then you go and hook up and stuff with that friend.
Oh, you're being literal. Okay. Yep. Go.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've said this before. When there's like a phrase, and then it has the word friend, and then I use the word friend, and then I'm being literal, but then how else are you supposed to
No,
take
you're right.
it?
You're right, because I'm a stickler for people meaning what they say as well. Yep.
Yeah, no, but friends with benefits, it means that you have a friend, and then there are benefits, like you're sleeping with them. And that's just what I'm saying. Like, I think that would be very weird if you've got like a good friend, and then you're also sleeping with them. I would rather just have someone like I don't really know, and then we just date.
Yeah, I'm. When I hear friends with benefits, I think of a hookup.
No, because it's not a friend.
Yeah, I know, but when I hear friends with benefits, I group that in with hookups or fuck buddies or whatever.
Yeah, kind of, but it is a friend of yours who you're doing it with.
Yeah, but I've had that in the past. They weren't friends. We didn't catch up outside the bedroom. We'd only catch up when we wanted to.
And you were friends or no?
No, but we termed it like friends with benefits. But we're not really friends. Like, we do get along, but we don't...
You're just hooking up. You're just
that's what I mean. So if you want to be semantically correct, it's hooking up. That's all it is. But having a friend that you do that with, I don't think I've ever had that. I've had hookups, but I've never had... But see, friends with benefits means like you keep it going. Like it happens for a long term. So you have this person you catch up with that you just sleep with. But they're not really a friend.
Yeah, there are movies about that also.
Well, have fun.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if you guys were in love, you could totally just have a life together, unless you want kids. But
yeah, it depends on how compatible you are, and how. For instance, I've always been more young at heart. My interests, my view of life, and even members of my family, when we got together, they weren't surprised. They always said, "Oh, yeah." We always said Bobby needed someone who was younger than him, like his lifestyle and how he wants to live and everything, his conversations. And you're much more mature than a lot of women your age, the way you think.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Or more accurately, like the level of maturity given what kind of personality I have. Not talking about maturity, like the socializing and stuff like that's different, but just like being able to have like a mature conversation with someone one-on-one, you're really good at that compared to other girls your age. All right. What else do we want to say about this single versus being a couple, which is better?
Yeah.
I find my life better with you. I've said it. The best I can do is describe my life is the same but better. It's like warmer. There's a warmth around it, and it's more comfortable. It's much more comfortable than it used to be, which is the opposite of whenever I was with another girl. Exciting at the start, then afterwards, life on my own was always better. I always wanted to spend time away.
Yeah, that's interesting because for me, both are kind of equal to me because I've always had a nice time in relationships and also being single. So for me, but that's because I pick nice guys and good guys, and I don't stay in a relationship when it goes bad or when I find out that we're not compatible, or we both find out we're not compatible, you know? So that's why I have good experiences. So I think both are fine. For me, I think both are nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you're better at seeing the person for who they are, like Melee says, and seeing it very quickly and being very clear about that. I had a lot of naive optimism. You know, I liked them no matter how they acted. I excuse them.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say what it is as well with me. I think I filter out people because I'm so direct. Like a lot of the stories that you've told about your exes, like they're not being direct, and like the communication isn't always good. And I would just be on top of everything.
Yeah.
Like if I have a question, I ask the question. If you don't answer the question, this is going to be a problem until you answer this question.
Well, that's where my dating life started to get better and clearer in my 40s, is when I just like, because when I was younger, you'd talk and you want to get to know the person, and then you could see they put up a wall. It's like, I don't want to talk about that. Can we talk about something else? And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Let me avoid that topic from now on. But as I got older, it's like, no. I want to know where you stand on that topic. I want to be clear. And then later on, it was like, I'm going to know about this one way or another. Not to be rude, but this is very important, and you're evading a very important issue that we need to get to know each other about.
Yeah, but it's also like, I'm not a random person off the street. I'm your partner. We are in a relationship.
Or we're trying to be.
Yeah, so if I have a question and I want to know something, and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, it's like, no, you're in a relationship with me now. Like, I'm not just some person off the street.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're in a relationship with me, then I presume that you want to, like, build a future with me. It's serious. We're in this together. You can't just, like, choose not to talk about stuff with me. So, yeah. I feel like I've always filtered out people that way. So that's, you know, if you're very direct, I feel like that also really helps you in relationships.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done. We've been talking for nearly an hour and a half. So again, the answer is it depends. But my take is, unless you're dating with intent, you know who you are and you know how to filter out people the way you just mentioned. If you know how to do all that, then your chances of finding someone compatible and being in a relationship, it's better being in a relationship with someone who's compatible with you. But if you're not doing that, if you're just dating randomly without thinking, and you're believing all the BS that's out there, then being single is preferable.
Yeah, it also depends on where you live, I think.
Yeah, but if you can't actually make someone be intentional with their dating, if you can just offer one piece of advice, I would lean more on the side of it's better to be single.
Yeah, but then we also get back to, especially for young people, isn't it just a part of life to enjoy?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it, like in Holland, I've dated a lot also outside of my relationships, just going on dates with people. And that's always been a lot of fun, you know?
Yeah, but the laws here make it dangerous as well. And there's all those factors, the politics in the West.
Yeah, I know, but maybe if you just date women and not necessarily sleep with them or something, like you can still have those experiences. You just need to be careful about it. Like, and of course, do it if you really want to do it. Don't just do it because everyone else is doing it or because it's normal.
Don't be paranoid, but be very, very sensible. And I would say be very intentional about dating. Even if you want to have fun, be very intentional about how you're going to have fun and know your boundaries. Don't lower your boundaries because the person you're dating is pressuring you or asking you to transgress one of your principles or things like that. Because once you go against your own rules, then you'll hate yourself for it.
Yeah, and I also think, look, until you meet that person that makes you go, oh shit, I think this could really be something, until you meet that person, just have fun with dating. I can remember periods in my life where I've kind of felt like, ooh, I feel like dating. And then other times where I'm like, oh, I would just want to enjoy being alone for a while. And those periods where I just feel like dating, it's just like I just go out there just to have a good time, you know? But I know myself and I know what I want. So then if the date is crappy or if he's like not what I'm looking for or whatever, like that's fine. It's just a date. Like if you have that mentality, like I know who I am, I'm just gonna have fun. Because until you meet that person that you think this might actually be something, just have fun with it and be careful, obviously. But
it's kind of like when you're a Sunday afternoon and you're not really in the mood for any kind of movie and you're just very open-minded and you just go and watch a movie and you can just surprisingly enjoy it.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes like, no, I'm into science fiction. I want to watch science fiction. Like you really know what you want.
yeah.
And other times you just don't want to watch a movie at all.
Yeah, but then I think it becomes more difficult the more you really desire a relationship and you're really actively looking for something. I think, sadly, that almost makes it more difficult. I think it's maybe easier if you have a more relaxed attitude and you're already happy being by yourself and stuff. I think that's kind of easier.
And it's not that it's more attractive to the other person, which it probably is, but it's also, it lets their guard down. They feel like, oh, this person's relaxed. They know who they are. They're enjoying their life. Let me be relaxed too. And you both show who you are more honestly. But if you're both desperately like, I'm looking for the one, I want to have kids, then there's this kind of nervous energy and you're not really showing exactly the person as clearly as you should be.
Yeah.
Anyway. Feels like intimacy keeps the hormones balanced. Yes. Again, just pay attention.
Well, I think, like physically, there's proof.
Yep.
Is that, like if you don't have sex for like years and years, stuff happens in your body. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, like it's good to have sex or something like that.
Yeah, I heard with women when they feel, how can I put this?
Horny?
No, when they feel a man's, like they come in contact with the man's stuff.
Oh.
That it improves their mood biochemically. And a woman who hasn't actually felt it, like there's like some sort of biochemical interaction between men's semen and a woman's physiology, that her mood improves.
Okay.
There's been studies to show that there's like a positive correlation between that. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I think that we're done. And is it better to be single in 2025?
Depends.
Yeah, it depends. And it's dangerous out there. The best thing you can do is be yourself, speak honestly, know what you want, date with intent, have fun with intent, be single with intent. And if you're angry, realize you're angry and why, so you can enjoy your life more. Because it's no good being pissed off and angry. That's what I learned. After a while, the cortisol in your system and fighting all the time, you're not enjoying yourself. You're just defending yourself. I think you feel good. You think you're happy, but you feel good because you're defending, like you're tough. Like, it feels good to be brave and angry because you're finally like saying what you want. Like women are like this. I won't be walked all over. I won't have this happen to me again. But it's always like, rather than like, yeah, I'm good. Nah, this will never happen to me again. Like that's a better attitude to have.
Shall we do some rapid fire?
Oh, as in from...
Let's do some rapid fire questions.
Do we have any rapid fires?
Yeah, here. There.
Where that? Ah,
yeah.
That one. Ah, I forgot about these.
Let's do 5.
Well,
I know the first one. We could just read them.
Okay.
What's one thing they always lose? Your phone. He's always asking me, where's my phone? Have you seen my phone? Where's my phone?
Yeah. I always joke. I say, babe, I'm about to ask a question. What's the question? And it's always, where's my phone? I'm always leaving it somewhere. I don't really lose it, but I always leave it somewhere.
Yeah, what do I lose? Maybe hair ties.
Hair ties, yep.
Yeah. I've got tons of them.
If one of you could only eat one food forever, what would it be? We already mentioned yours, I think. Paella.
Oh.
Well, not really. If you had to eat that all the time, you'd probably get sick of it too.
Only one food?
For the rest of your life.
Oh, that's too difficult, man.
Come on.
Well, right now I'm really into burrito bowls, but
Yeah, you can kind of make them any way you want, so that's pretty good. I would say pizza, because you can have a variety of pizza as well. Pizza or pasta, but probably pizza.
yeah, it's difficult.
Who apologizes first after a fight?
Me. Well, not after a fight because we don't fight, but I feel like I apologize more to you because I fuck up more. I'm working on myself, okay? No, just with little things when I'm like too blunt or, you know, I feel like I apologize.
Yeah, you also can't sit with that fakeness. A lot of girls can just like ignore it. It's like, yeah, well, I just caused a train wreck. Who cares? Like, let's move on. You can't move on. You have to acknowledge if you screwed up or if you said something that wasn't right or you're insensitive or you made a mistake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. What's our guilty pleasure? What's each of our guilty pleasures?
Yours is fruit salad. And pasta.
Can you get off food for a second?
Ooh, what else is a guilty pleasure? I think of food. When
Drawing.
Guilty. That's a hobby.
Yeah,
Isn't a
but
guilty pleasure like food?
You think a guilty pleasure is food? Pleasure or a pleasure. I would say a guilty pleasure is pasta.
Oh, you're right, actually.
Pasta.
Because I'm also thinking now, you know how I like watching those shows like The Bachelor, The Ultimatum?
Yeah.
That's also like a guilty pleasure kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Something that's either cringy or like you can't stop doing, like a little bit of an addiction.
Who's more likely to cry during a movie? Probably me.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a woman.
You know what? Like, I will say, like, every now and then I get tears, like a bit of, I don't like cry, like, I don't do that. But I will notice, like, I'll get teary, like, very emotional. But, like, I'll get some tears only on movies. Never anywhere else. You know? Not never, that's too harsh. Like, there has been moments in private, like when Dad passed away, and like in private moments when I was reflecting on some moments and things. But just generally, the common thing for me is I don't really cry that much in real life, but movies make me cry. And I don't know, because there's a sense of safety in movies. I'm watching a scene that I'm not connected to, but it's relatable or something is like familiar or whatever.
I remember I cried during the movie Hachi with that dog,
the
about
dog.
that dog that died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was also one other movie, I can't remember the name. I think it was with Jennifer Gardner. Was this movie about her daughter was sick with like a disease or something, and then she fell down a tree. Like, it's inside the tree was hollow or something, and she fell like inside the tree. And the way that the mom ran out of the house and like was like yelling for her child, I just like started bawling. Her acting was so good. Yeah, I can't remember the name, but why are you looking at me like that?
You're getting very emotional, babe.
Yeah? Am I getting red? Oh, I hate it. My face is like, I've got like makeup on. But my face, when I like get emotional or something, I get like a tomato.
Yeah, but I like it because you're very transparent. Like I can tell what's going on with you.
I can't hide the tomato face.
Describe each of our inner style in one word. What's our inner style?
Their style.
What would you describe me as?
Like your clothing style?
No, inner.
It doesn't say
Oh,
inner.
no, inner.
It says describe their style.
Why did I say inner? Okay, describe this style in one word. Like generally, me.
Casual?
Yep.
I think I'm also casual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's more romantic? I would say I am. I'm more romantic than you.
We're both not really romantic, though.
But I'm more romantic.
You're a little bit more than me, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not very
No,
romantic.
but I do more little romantic things through the day, here and there. I notice I think of you and like I'll do little things.
And then I feel like I initiate date nights.
Yeah, she's
More.
more intentionally romantic, but I just kind of do them throughout the day, throughout the week, everywhere. Whereas she does like big things, like she makes big efforts to be romantic. Like, you know, cleans the house and does these things and prepares things and wants to do a date night and things like that. All right. I think we're done. Are we done?
I guess.
Yeah. It's an hour and a
I
half.
never want to stop streaming. I could be like a streamer, babe. Just like get out our burrito bowls, eat here, continue talking.
Talk shit about nothing. Jeez.
Y'all are sweet. Good to see it. Platonic love to both of you.
Thank you.
Some songs make me cry. Ooh, have any songs made you cry?
Oh, after a breakup, right after it, if it's a song that's like talking about love and the one and blah de blah, yeah, I've gotten a bit teary-eyed after that. But just in general, no, songs never make me cry, ever.
Oh, you know what also tears me up? Still, always, when Mufasa dies in The Lion King. That scene.
The animated one?
I don't cry, but I get like teary-eyed.
Really?
Yeah, it's sad. His dad died. Ooh, my stomach, I'm hungry.
No, he didn't.
Mufasa.
Not really. It's a drawing.
Yeah.
Lions don't talk, babe. All right. We're going to go it's Friday morning here. The rest of you, Thursday night in the US, everywhere else. Enjoy your upcoming weekend. And we will see you in the next stream or video. Yeah, below, let us know your thoughts on this topic. Is it better being single or in a relationship? And also, anything you'd like us to talk about, any topic suggestions. We've got our own, but we're always curious to see what you guys would like us to talk about that we don't see. All right. I would say.
See you next time.
Yes. And bye.
Bye.